All right. So I did a drawing here, and I'm doing my HVAC training, so that's just in my head because I just think it represents really life. HVAC talks about the flow of things. If you put pressure, if you put pressure onto things, and then you need to release it. Like there's a science to that I just really do see fits into the Christian and just life. But anyway, my models continue to be this notion of an abounding life, which we want. See my thumb here? That's good. And then over here is an abased life, which is exactly the opposite. This is a Christian paradox, but this too is good. They're both important. So to my conflicts, this is one of my greatest concerns because I care about the people that I'm in conflict with. Not always, but yeah, I mean, let's see my face again. That's not really true. I mean, let's just say I care about everybody. But sometimes people, or these elements here, whatever they might be, let's see where this goes. But Maslow talks about needs scientifically, so he has a special category. But this might be any other needs. If someone would say, what do you care about? What do you care about? What and that fits under this. You need, care, whatever. That's why I left it blank. You think about what they are, and then maybe think a little deeper, because I think the more deeper ones can fit into these blocks. You could list them here, okay? Because then when you go to my Sunday school, we would talk about abounding, and we would want to have tens, and this is all part of making your cycle of life as an HVAC system flows. Like, we breathe and do things and go about our life, and this is all based on a needs-based abounding system, okay? And in my conflict, I think about, moving on or what that might look like to go past a conflict. And this is off the top of my head, so I have an idea, but trust me, when I get into this, it's not totally clear. But I think it is. What I'm saying is that for me to really move on in conflict, because I care about each of the people that has their own set. This could be Bob, this could be Jane. You just stick that model onto Bob and Jane and the different people in life, So then if I care about Bob and I care about Jane, well, these things interact with each other. It's life. This all kind of impacts. So here, Bob might list Jane on his list. Jane might list Bob. So you see, there's things here we have to think about. And if they're married or whatever, then we care, my pastor hat one's going to care about both of those people, and I want that to be a fulfilling and happy relationship. Or maybe in my business, this is me and I care about client A, and client A's over here with their own thing, and client A could list me, and that would be definitely a higher level relationship than a spouse. But people in your Sunday school class, I mean, that's about, as the model of life, the ones that you should care about the most and could be closest to kind of base needs or whatever that make us have a happy and abounding life. That's one way. And I care about this. I want both to be very sound, both of these models over here. Okay? But I just continue to think this is good. So over here is the health of a system, because if things are toxic here, always being able to ultimately know that you can be in this kind of a life is really the foundation. This is foundational, and at some level better. If you don't have this straight, all this is for nothing. But then if you can logically say, if you can get it to the point where you can say the only thing that I need is Jesus, and ultimately all of this stuff comes back to where at the end of the day, these words, like at the end of the day, this is the model that we do unto death, because all these forces in life, when we interact with real life, there's Bob and all these other people and U.S. laws and all these things that can influence this more, I wanted to say more tangible, or definitely, I don't know. I'm not going to try to say to that. But I still think this is fundamentally something I've learned, and I think it's very core to teaching, that this has to be, because then you're in a position to make sound decisions. Ultimately, if your most precious things over here become against Jesus, it needs to be that stark. Jesus can't be one of these elements. Jesus has to be his own separate subset that fits just like this. So I think that That is so good. I mean, this is just base teaching. But then why I really sat and started to do this, although I'm happy it went the way that it did because I continue to just elaborate my own thoughts, but I think for introductory material, people get to know me or wherever this goes, this is just so central and core and really good. That will just continue to apply because I can think of examples, but it doesn't matter. When we get into real life Sunday school scenarios, we'll flesh this out even more. But what seemed important for me to say is that it's one thing people could say to me, move on or move on in my job and in those 8 factors or however, move on so that you can get on with the life. Just get on with things. And I keep staying stuck here until I'm comfortable, because this guy over here is saying we care about some of this damage that happened in the past. I'm just sharing my story here, some too. Which becomes careful, but I mean, generally this is just a thing that hopefully people can really learn from and apply to their own life in ways that, yes, this one is central to mine and helps people in my life understand how I think, but I think then broadly it can hopefully, really? I don't know. I don't think this is, we'll see. That's why I want to probe and have a Sunday school class so we can see whether this matters and the way other people think too. But what I'm cared about, I don't want to move on and just push all the past to the past. Conflict has elements because ultimately, that's where this train goes back to Psalm 23. Prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. And I was saying that these enemies, the irony here is that no, they're your loved ones that have gone, things that just didn't go right. So conflict isn't just to move on. That's an American way of dealing with it. And I'm saying, no, the Jesus way over here is like, wait a second, I care about every sheep there is. Okay, so over here's pressure to get on with the cycle of life and move on, but Jesus just keeps, and I can't get past this because I listen to Jesus and give all this the middle finger. Okay, they matter. I need a job. Okay, that could be mine. Job. Need. I mean, really. But I have to let that go and just hang here with Jesus a minute a minute? Years? Okay? Because in my scenarios, I know Bob and Jane and Dick and Harry and all these people, and I'm going to even shift my focus into what I'm thinking of. If I move on I'm going to think of a person here that's independent and not, but I care about this person. So that'll help with the teaching, I think. So if I just move on, now I've essentially given that person the middle finger. Now it lets me go about my cycle of life and I can be all happy in ways, but this person becomes the lost sheep that I never got to deal with. And since I'm a very good person, as I think we all are if we slow down and think about it, it's not good to move on. Now, this person here, again, that person you could look and say, they're fine. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. I'm trusting. I like where this line of thought come to my mind. Conflict resolution never has a moving on. It has a healing. It has a healing element. If I'm heard, because I think what's happening is I'm applying this person here, and again, I'm telling you about God's honest truth. I'm thinking of a person you'd never expect. I'm going to put that person over here, and I'm saying there's no way Jesus is satisfied with what's going on. You might be able to muddle by, you might have heart attacks that are showing me all right and left, and you might be able to be living in ways that aren't getting you arrested or, you pay and doing but you're definitely not a 10 out of 10 in all those 8 categories. And so I care about every lost sheep. Everyone. And when I start to tell that, I'm going back to this example because I'm liking how this keeps me safe. Now, this person here in my world, and this is a lady, in her world, she's that person. She's got other things. So her husband, who I know, okay, because I'm as an accounting person, client. he will definitely start to bitch at me, literally me. You know how these diagrams go. Because I'm over here telling, in my world, her, which is her if you're following this, I'm telling her about Jesus. And she knows down in the deepest, most part of her heart, oh my God, she knows I'm right. So then she goes home and tells her husband, and then her husband's bitching because it's starting to F up his needs. You see this? But so much of American system is based on just, this is a baseless system. Over here is an abounding, Joel Osteen, happy American kind of just, we're going to kick you out here into the world and not really give you a base. You have to have, this is why I have to be the president of the whole wide world. Really. Because I have to keep telling people, Jesus is where it sits. If you want to really be healthy and holy in every area. What's my evidence? The dusty book called Holy People here. Not, what's her name? Katy Perry? She's smoking hot. I could become very rock-based in her. Okay. Money. I'm doing a thing with my finger. You can't see it. I become base selfish if I move on and allow that abuse to continue without it being heard. I'm going to try and think about this as it might apply to this guy. And how can this work? What am I really doing? Trying to be the president so that how else am I supposed to get through to these people? Because we need to develop a big enough group eventually that becomes big enough. And I'm thinking about this person. And then someday, 5 years down the road, they'll be like, whatever happened to Dwayne? Did I hear that he was beta rock? What is going on? And she'll remember. She'll think. And it'll draw. I'm doing everything I can to draw every lost sheep. I haven't talked to this other client. I'm still drawing. So I think then the lesson out there ultimately, when this person here sees me move on, then I become untrustworthy, and we never get this right. They never become whole, and I can't be the instrument. So I'm willing to die on the cross for every sheep. And now I got some more favorite sheeps than others, okay? When I think about the future and how this all goes, I just told a guy this morning, I'm just going to wait here in a dumpster until this gets straightened out. The people that want me to move on are telling me that. Other people come in and they think they're given no, if you really think about it, one answer is to move on, and the other answer is to die on the cross. While we were yet sinners, Christ, our model, died for us. That's what I want to be to the world. A model to follow. Yes, but ultimately there's billions and billions of people out there. This is a model that can be taught as clearly as I possibly can so that other people can do it. But for the people in my life and the people in yours, love the person.